negotiate over its nuclear programme. The Iranian mission to the UN has said that Tehran stands ready for dialogue, but if pushed, the nation will defend itself. Let's turn to Paul Smith, who is an Iranian-British human rights activist, director of the Iran Sanctions and Trade Observatory think tank. He's joining us live on LBC News. Thank you for your time this evening. Of course, we heard some strong words from Donald Trump, haven't we, in recent weeks with regards to the protests that were taking place. He said help was on the way for those protesters. This seems to, in some ways, have come out of the blue a little bit, what he said today. Is that a fair assessment?
I think a war is imminent. The question is who's going to start first. And there are three possible scenarios. First, Iran launches a preemptive attack on Israel. Second, this is most likely the United States initiates military action against Iran. And third, Israel acts independently if US pulls back, which is at the moment less likely. What Trump has done today by his tweet of Truth Social he's put the Iranian regime into a clear lose-lose choice. Iran has two options. Option one, accept the deal, and the deal is effectively a total surrender. And the regime knows that. The deal has three main elements, is a number one, complete halt on Iran's nuclear program. Number two, a total stop on long-range ballistic missile development, missiles that can already reach part of Europe. And number three, ending all funding, training, and support for Iran's proxy terrorist groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, Hashd al-Sha'bis, etc. So if Iranian regime accepts the deal, it ceases to function as an Islamic republic. Ideologically, politically, and strategically, it collapses. Option number two is military confrontation. And based on the scale of the US buildup, this will not be a limited exchange. What we are seeing right now doesn't look like pressure. It looks like proper preparation. According to the report I've seen today, the United States needs another 1 or 2 weeks to fully complete its military positioning around Iran. So that suggests the current negotiations tactics are not diplomacy. They are time-buying tactics used by Donald Trump. So if Trump wanted to knock on the roof strike, a limited strike, it already could have done it by now.
Donald Trump is hugely buoyed, isn't he, by what he did in Venezuela at the start of January. Do you think that he's hoping that he can just do the same again with Iran?
The scale would be much larger. Iran is not Venezuela. And more importantly, there is another main player in this equation, and it's Israel. Okay, so if any attacks start against Iran, Iran will retaliate to Israel, which will make things more complicated, especially now Hezbollah in Lebanon has announced that they're going to join. So it wouldn't be that's why they're doing this massive build-up, because the moment they touch it, it's going to be a very complex scenario. So it wouldn't be a one-day operation like Venezuela.
And that speaks to the fragility, doesn't it, of politics in the Middle East? Was it ever
Correct.
so, you know? Do you think the Trump administration have thought this through entirely? Do you think that they will be weighing up the risks of what you've just described?
Yes, that's why it has taken that much time, and we all think it's already late. And also there is a tendency inside Trump administrations, which are, they call it right isolation, is that they've put Trump administration under pressure to continue negotiation with Iranian regime. But I think this Iranian regime is ISIS with a seat in the UN. You can't negotiate with terrorist regimes that kills its own people, 50,000 of them in just 2 days. You don't negotiate with them. You demolish them.
We heard, didn't we, when those protests were at their height a couple of weeks ago, and they have died down since. Of course, there's been that deadly crackdown, hasn't there, on protesters?
Yes.
We heard from Reza Pahlavi, the son of the last Shah, saying, "The regime will fall. I will return to the country." Do you think that's still an eventuality that we're going to get to, that's something that is nailed on going to happen?
Of course, one of the main strong point of this revolution that Iranians have at the moment is to have a leader like King Reza Pahlavi at the moment, which has a massive support inside Iran. And it's not just his Instagram post gets 90 million views. He has millions of supporters inside Iran that they go to the street, chant his name. You can just see the footages. These people unarmed with empty hand, heroes, chant Reza Pahlavi's names and get bullets and die. And our record shows more than 50,000 people have been shot dead so far. So Iran has a chance, has an opportunity to change and become a democracy again.
It has a chance to become a democracy, but does that mean a violent overthrow of the regime, or the regime just sort of melting away?
This regime will not melt away. Okay, this regime has three scenarios to collapse. One, economic collapse, like Soviet Union, but because they have oil money, that's not possible. Number two, people get armed, which is not possible because we don't have access to that arm. And number three is military aid by the Western countries. So these guys are Iranian regime, are a murderous regime, and they will not go by protest, by voting, by civilized disobedience. They will go by force, a force which is much stronger than them, and that is America and Israeli army.
Paul Smith, thank you for joining us, Iranian British human rights activist and director of the Iran Sanctions and Trade Observatory think tank. We'll bring you any further developments, of course, here on LBC News. You can follow the latest as well on the LBC